All right. How we turn this thing around? There we go. Oh, aloha YouTube. This is your boy Crypto Roots, and I'm back at it again with the good brother Brandon Samba.
Brandon Samba.
Brandon Samba. That's what's up. That's what's up. So we're doing a relaxed session today. We're doing Q and A's. If there's any questions you have about cryptocurrency investing stocks, just feel free to ask us. We just want to get it in. So hit me up if you're looking for the crypto mentorship. If you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, decentralization, decentralized finance. If you need a decentralized website, domain, and hosting, hit me up. If you need a multi-signature wallet for your family or business account, hit me up. If you need an Ethereum domain for your wallet, I got you. Hit me up. All right, so we up in Mexico.
That's it, man.
We're on some conscious vibes.
That's it.
We're grinding. I met the good brother over here at the juice bar, and he's got a background of investing. And I pretty much just wanted him to share his story, just ask him a few questions, just kind of pick his brain and just figure out where he's coming from, because I'm sure there's a lot I can learn. I don't ever like to come and think I know everything, because I don't. And so, whew, first of all, where are you from, brother, if you don't mind sharing that with me?
Yeah, I'm so excited to open doors today. I'm really excited to be able to go ahead and connect with your audience,
Okay.
with your audience as well. So as we out here getting comments on how to be able to set up our camera. We're not videographers out here. We're just some investors. But to give you some context on where I'm from, I was born in a place called the Democratic Republic of Congo during civil war and mass genocide.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Central Africa? Or
No, I wouldn't say too well. I've tried to keep up, but please share more.
yeah, so essentially, like about 2 months after being born, essentially. Just a quick question: you want me looking in the camera? You want me looking at you?
Yeah, yeah. Look in the camera.
Yeah. So, as far as like my upbringing, it's a huge foundation into my ability to be able to game this space. So one thing I'm just gonna go ahead and mention is like being born in the Democratic Republic of Congo during civil war and mass genocide. It was the worst genocide since the Holocaust. So more people actually died than the people who were killed during the Jewish internment camps and what was going on during the Holocaust. So being born into that, immigrated to San Diego, grew up with a really strong immigrant background, and I used a lot of these experiences, a lot of these traits to be able to incorporate them within the business world. So resourcefulness, work ethic, and I started my first business when I was in the 6th grade. It was a dog walking company as a way to be able to afford my youth football fees, and that was my first foray into business. Now, fast forward, I had a really cool mentor when I was in middle school, around 6th or 7th grade, who introduced me to the stock market. And I was still playing football, still really passionate about athletics. But over time, my passion for the financial markets superseded my passion for athletics. I decided to actually quit football during my junior year of high school. I was about 14, 15. And I invested a lot of my time into the stock market. I created my own investment club at my high school to teach other people, just about what I was doing. I was getting, my friends were laughing at me because I grew up from like being like the all-star quarterback, who was winning championships and getting offensive MVPs to essentially becoming like a hardcore nerd, man. I took a lot of AP classes. I went from getting like a 3.0 GPA to like a 4.4, and I was really like focused on this whole investing stuff. I joined a pretty cool community called the Leaders Investment Club, and I wanted to be able to share essentially what I was doing, as well as in a way I felt like I was defending what I was doing to my friends. So I created that as a way to be able to go ahead and share some knowledge. And then from there, I really started to think about college and what I wanted to learn. I ended up going to a private business school called Bentley University out in Boston, and really learned a lot of like the institutional game in terms of finance. So I just recently graduated with a major in finance, with a minor in politics and global management. I was managing my school's endowment, so first black president of the Bentley Investment Group. I was overseeing north of $1.2 million, and of course that's like peanuts in the larger scale of this whole financial game. I also worked within the asset management industry, so I have worked in the industry. I spent the last 3 years working for an asset management company called Lumicells, doing credit research on a portfolio which was valued at north of $300 billion. And I was looking at real estate, transportation, utilities, renewable energy. And now I have an investment education company teaching people all over the world how to invest. I'm still managing my nonprofit, which I started 3 years ago, Captains of Capital, teaching younger students how to invest in poor communities. So that's a little bit more about myself, man. That's a little bit more about myself. That's a little bit more about my background. I'm really excited to connect and just open more doors during our conversation today.
Yeah, it seemed like you found your passion pretty early, you know? Um, what struggles do you think you faced following your passion that early, you know?
Yeah.
Because I can only assume there's only so many amount of people that was actually interested in doing what you were doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would just say for starters, a lot of this space that you see in finance is dominated by old, rich, white men,
Yeah.
and I was young. I don't come from a family with like a lot of resources, so I was in a rich. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was a young black boy trying to navigate a space which is dominated by old, rich, white men,
Yeah.
and I would say that there was a lot of cultural there was a cultural learning curve trying to understand like from a sociological aspect, like how do you actually spit game, how do you go to dinners with billionaires and people who are like CEOs of the World Bank, and how do you actually navigate that crowd. So that was a really rich experience for me, and then also just being able to understand the game, like being 15, being 16, and being an investor. I think it now has given me a lot of confidence to move forward, but at the time you can imagine the confidence issues that you go into, like maybe not always knowing exactly, because just like you said, crypto, you said Roots, like you still have a lot that you have to learn through the space. I still have a lot that I have to learn in order to be able to be a great investor. And we're going to be constantly learning, but when you're in the first innings of this process, sometimes you feel like you don't even know enough to really be on your own 10 toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that confidence barrier was really huge for me.
And did you have any mentors or of any sort, even a old white dude who knew what he was doing, or did you really have to stumble and fall and figure it out yourself? Like,
No,
okay,
thank you,
okay.
brother.
No, I mean, can we smoke weed?
Yeah, sure.
We can.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think we can smoke up here, Chris. Yeah. All right, we're straight. It's straight.
All right, all right.
All right. I got some business calls and
Yeah, no, no. Go ahead.
yeah.
Did you have any financial mentors of any kind whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of financial mentors, so for starters, the person who put me on game for the financial markets was actually a mentor and an uncle of mine who played 12 years in the NFL, and I was really just focused on like like athletic side. Like I thought that going to the NFL or something would be my way out, so to speak, right?
Yep.
And he like really showed me like, bro, you want to be the owner of this thing. You don't want to be the player.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like,
Yep.
the players are the commodities, and there's people trading the commodities. You know what I mean? Like owners and GMs trading commodities, and
Yeah.
you know. So he really put me on game to be able to help me understand. Like, bro, you want to be able to understand the financial markets. Like, I'd be on business. I'd be in the car with him, riding in his Range Rover,
Yeah.
and he'd be putting like $500,000 into his investment account.
You saw and felt it, like, so it was real to you.
That's it.
You know, it wasn't just something you saw on TV.
Bro, you can't catch what you can't see, bro.
Yeah.
It's hard to catch what you can't see, bro. And it was cool that I had someone that really saw that I could really see it, and I could see it fully manifested, like drives in the Bentley, drives in the Range Rover. You know what I mean? So like, it was a long process, but like
The way you're talking about it, it doesn't seem like you were actually. Yeah, the money's one thing. It doesn't seem like you were in it for the money. It just seemed like you actually enjoyed what you were doing, while the process of obviously making money. It just feels the way you're talking about it. Like,
yeah, well, to be honest, in the space, man, I've been doing a lot of this stuff. Like when I told you I started my own investment club in high school, I've been gaming this thing for over half a decade now for free. I'm gonna put in like 80. I don't know if I'm at my 10,000 hours yet, but I'm damn near working at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of that has come for free. So you know they say like in order to be able to be a professional at anything, you have to put 10,000 hours in. And I just really think that that's true and told, at least within my experience. So before you even get paid for your 10,000 hours, or for any of your hours, you're gonna have to put in that investment.
And that's what a lot of people don't really realize. And a lot of, because you got bitter people who follow financial people.
Yeah.
Right? And you'd be surprised how many people, like, you think people are going to support you, but like, no, they just like to be stirred up.
Right.
And get, and it's like, there was sacrifice before I even got on this camera.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no way you would ever experience that unless you did it yourself. And that's one thing you just can't teach people. You can't teach people that it takes self-discipline. It takes alone time. You're going to have to miss out on some clubs and some things. And that's the sacrifice you make. And that's what I really just want to stress to people. there's a sacrifice you got to do. Shit just doesn't come out. Even if it came out of nowhere, you wouldn't know how to do with it the right way if you didn't put in, so that's another thing to all you haters out there who be hating on me. I put in the work, and I grind and I study, and that's how I know I have the confidence to never ever go broke again, is that I have the knowledge to fall back on. Right? All I got to do is move here, take this investment, move there, withdraw here, just wait for this to flip. It always flips this way, right? There's a token bonding curve, and there's only so much liquidity in the pool, so the price moves, a couple grand in, just off one buy. You can flip that, like, so being able to recognize patterns on the market and being able to feel like pretty 75%, 80% confident that investment's going to work in your favor. That takes time. That's where you're investing. You're not gambling. And let's talk about that. Have you made any gambles in your investing experience? Are you a gambler? Have you gambled? Do you enjoy gambling?
Yeah, so a funny story about gambling, like personally, like you were talking about like the experience. I don't really see investing as gambling, right? Because
Yep.
I think it's like it's a disciplined approach in order to be able to essentially confront the unknown, which is the financial markets, and it's this beast, this living, breathing,
Oh man.
active.
Yeah, I call it a collective consciousness,
Yeah.
really, because when you're staring at the chart, it's just a visual representation of what everybody else is pretty much kind of feeling. Like everybody's behind a computer, at least for the most part. So that visual representation is kind of everybody within that particular trading pair. You're kind of seeing, and you
Isn't
can.
that a beautiful, like, even from like a sociological or like philosophical concept that we have like an indicator,
Yes.
or like a visualization of a collective consciousness?
And that's why I get excited about markets.
Yeah.
And I love talking about markets, and especially like economics and tokenomics, because it's real interesting to see how supply and demand really work together. And for some reason, I just find it fascinating. And I didn't have this interest so strongly until I heard about cryptocurrency.
Right.
I didn't care about computers. I didn't care about really that much of investing. I was more of a music farming dude. But when I realized you can print your own money from your computer, I was like, what's this Bitcoin thing?
Yeah.
You can mine Bitcoin on your, wait, hold up. Wait. Is this run by the government?
Yeah.
And I went down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Right? And when you go down that rabbit hole, you realize everything is tied to money one way or another. But I don't like to say I make money. I like to say I generate value. Right? And with cryptocurrency, you can monetize things that are valuable. And you actually have to like step back and realize what's valuable, right? And what's valuable about you? Your attention, right? Your attention is valuable. Billions of dollars spent on advertisements just to get your attention.
Yeah.
Trust is valuable. Being able to have people that trust you, people will give you money and let you take some of the money just for being able to trust you,
Yeah.
right? You can monetize this with decentralized networks. And energy. There you go. Energy, one of the most valuable things. So you can monetize attention, trust, energy value, time, obviously. So once you do that, decentralized, you're able to monetize your entire life essentially with some of these networks.
Right.
Because there's a token called reputation token.
Right.
And based on your reputation within the network, you get paid more money by telling the truth.
Right.
So it really just opened up a whole nother world. And I found financial literacy so much more easier to understand when I knew I didn't have to like go get a brokerage account and then have to go get approved and my driver's license. I wanted to access all that, but I just, so that's what jumped me ahead, was just the pure curiosity of investing in money in markets,
That's it, brother.
Yeah, it gets me so excited just talking about it.
Yeah, do you think that that's like necessary for, because we want to be able to share this information to like so many amazing and awesome people, and thank you for everyone who's like tuning in and spending their time, because we said like energy and time is like a real currency, right? But do you think that it's important for people to have like real genuine passion and curiosity for this market? Because one, you're going to take losses in this space. It's inevitable. I don't know, even Warren Buffett, like you're not just going to go on a 100 kill streak where you don't take any losses. So to be able to get up from those losses, you have to have like a certain aspect of like passion and resilience. And then also to be able to put the time in, that 10,000 hours, you got to have a passion. So do you think that's like pretty necessary for students to be able to have?
Absolutely. And I come from such more of an extreme standpoint of I actually chose to be homeless. I had no problem getting a job. I quit most of my jobs. And I'm so, at the time it was so unsure, you know, but I knew it wasn't for me. Working for somebody else, clocking in, clocking out. There's something that said, this is not for you. There's first of all easier money out there somewhere, you know, that you can take advantage of. So I chose to sacrifice my comforts at the time based on me supporting myself because needed to value my time. And I'm telling you, my whole life has changed since I valued my time more than anything else. But time is just time. It's about what you do with the time. So I decided to teach myself programming. I had all this time. If I'm going to choose to not work and not just sleep on the beach in a hammock, you know, in Hawaii, which is still not bad. I mean, you know, it's nice and beautiful. But still, I wanted those comforts, but I had to sacrifice some comforts to study so that I could be in a position. And for most people, it's like, yo, that's too far. I'd rather go sell drugs. I'd rather do illegal. I'd rather go get it. But I knew I needed to be my own boss somewhere or another, and I saw that computer as the way, you know. Yeah, you know.
You guys see the thumbnail out here. You guys see the vision. You guys see the ideas, and it's just like, you know, with all this technology that we have, oftentimes technology has been used as a cage to be able to actually imprison people. But how do we teach people how to use technology to be able to free themselves?
Exactly, because this phone is a liability for most of you people. It keeps costing you money. This phone is one of the best assets I have. It's damn near my office. You know what I'm saying? Because I download data, right? I read articles, I study YouTube videos, and then I upload my data, right? I process it, I go and apply it in the markets, get some results back, and then I upload my own interpretation of what happened.
Yeah.
And then people pay me to hear about it.
You know, it's crazy, Rootz, man. It's like, you know, people in our current day and age, because we're so fixated on class and status, it's like, yo, do you have that new iPhone 18 or whatever? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Even if you look at like, the earlier versions of the iPhone, is like,
Yeah.
there's more technology in the first iPhones than there were in terms of like technological capacities as the rocket that actually, the spaceship that sent, you know, the astronauts over to the moon.
Facts.
Right? So it just shows that, man, like, you don't need anything too fancy, man. All you need is the
you know. And so, but that goes to show that we are living in a different paradigm.
Yeah.
Is that you can make a full-time living from the internet, and I feel everybody should have something for sale on the internet, some good or service or some organization, something to offer, referral links or whatever. Like, this is the world we live in, and you need to make that digital money. We already live in digital money, but I encourage decentralized money. So let's talk about that. Where do you feel America's going economically? I mean, is everyone going to be a victim? Like, what is this hyperinflation? Like, what is your thoughts about that? And pumping the markets, and you know, because it doesn't seem fair. And I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair at all, right? That you can just buy an investment and then the government's or whatever going to bail you out, and it's just going to keep. So obviously, eventually, shit's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt really bad. So what are your thoughts on the state of like economies, markets, money, Federal Reserve,
Yeah, that's a really great question.
fiat money?
So I'll say in general, we're in a really interesting time when we start talking about the economic system. So just foremost, with the situation of COVID-19, you know, we're organized in a capitalistic society, but essentially our capitalistic structure never accounted for the idea that there would be a virus that essentially caused businesses to shut down. You know what I mean? And I think that we've been looking at a very like primitive and animalistic problem, which is a virus, and we've been trying to find capitalistic solutions at it, which is essentially just throwing money at things, right? Give someone an extra check, or pump more money into the markets. And I think that these are asymmetric problems and asymmetric solutions. So I think, in short, I think that we're in a really interesting time economically. I think that, you know, when we look at even jobless claims, you know, there's 40 million people, more than 40 million people that recently lost their job. I mean, what does that say about the corporate system and job security? You know, like, you talk about trust. Economics is a huge, it's essentially just, it's a system of trust.
Absolutely.
That I trust that I'm sacrificing. Let's say I have a 9-to-5 job. I'm sacrificing some freedom. I'm sacrificing my life, really, my time.
You're exchanging your time for money
And security. But then when we have a virus that actually just says in one day I can go ahead and actually, I can furlough you, or I can put you out of work, that breaks trust amongst employers and employees. So I think that that's why it's also really necessary for us to be able to own our own power and become our own bosses and circulate money through our own economies. So I think that's one aspect that the coronavirus has shown, is just like how easy it is for us to be able to, like, essentially this falsehood of a safety net can just be dropped right under us overnight.
And to add on to that, I like to take personal blame for, say yes, it's bad if a lot of people lose a lot of jobs all at once, but that could be some of the best blessings for some people, and it already has been, because it woke them up, put them on a new path. For other people, they just don't have the drive to go look for something new, and coronavirus is an excuse for them not to go and achieve anything.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just opening up today, brother, I think
Yeah.
like I can be a testament to that. I can say, like, when COVID-19 happened, I almost felt like my life diverged in almost like movie like, where I was given the opportunity to walk another path. Just to give you my background and how I ended up here in Mexico, I originally planned on coming here for 4 days over spring break. I've been here for 8 months now. But the reason why that happened is essentially my classes got moved online. I was able to complete college online in Mexico. From then, I started a business online, and I've been working online since. And I quit my job working in an office where I would have made $100,000 first year out of college, but I took that sacrifice in order to be able to own my time. And the only way I was able to do that was through the situation that we're in right now.
And there's so much glory at the end of the road. I'm not saying we're at the end of the road, but the breath of fresh air that we work for ourselves, that we can wake up when we want, that we actually have the discipline to set schedules and follow through and actually maintain a professional lifestyle while being hella relaxed and chill, like that is irreplaceable.
Bro, and at the end of the day, like, are you living? You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, are you really, I don't want to get too like philosophical with this. You know what? Actually, I do want to get philosophical.
Go for it, brother. Go for it, brother.
I mean, because at the end of the day, we're taught our whole lives that we have to work for a check, and that's what we're constantly being told in our media. But bro, life is so much beautiful. It's so much more expansive. It's so much more multidimensional than that. And I say that to say is, like, you've been hit with the idea, the question probably in your life of, like, if money wasn't an object, what would you do? And for me, I told myself, I'd be riding. I'd be learning how to, like, ride horses. I'd be in nature. I'd be living life like.
Yeah.
I would really be living life
like the way you want to live life.
That's
like
it.
There's nothing. There's nothing that replaces that. And once you have that freedom, you don't want to go. I mean, there's no going back. I mean, because you're gonna work towards having that freedom. And some days you just kind of be like, today I got to just grind it out today because I've been relaxing for the last 4 or 5 days, right?
You ever heard of this analogy of, like, essentially in circuses they used to have with elephants, right? What they would do with an elephant, because you guys know elephants are huge.
I used to take care of elephants.
Highly intelligent.
Yeah, I was.
Animals.
Absolutely.
And really powerful and heavy. But what they do with elephants is when they're babies, they tie a little rope around them, put a stake in the ground, okay? And at that point, when they start off as their babies, they actually can't move from the stake. But they get bigger and they get bigger, right? And they keep that stake on the elephant's leg. And over time, they get essentially psychologically programmed to believe that this stake is unbreakable. But they're huge elephants, and, like, just with the most, like, simple movement, they could break that stake. But they're psychologically programmed to believe that they're imprisoned. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are in their state of being when it comes to breaking their 9-to-5 job, breaking their routines. It seems like this huge mountain, but really it's not, man.
No, yeah,
not.
And I'm one of those people. I've quit more jobs than I've had more jobs, and I've quit more jobs than the average any individual. So I knew one thing, that I was good at getting jobs. That's why I kept quitting them. So I'm like, I'm on to something here. Yeah. I'm on to something here. I'm on to something here because. They're like, oh, you have dreadlocks, you smoke weed, there's no way you can get a job. Yeah. I was working at zoos, I was working at carpet places, selling all types of sales jobs and everything.
You know what I was really scared of, brother? Like, I hate to interrupt. It's just
go ahead.
Man, like, when I was in high school, I did the whole thing of, like, working in Subways and working in, like, supermarkets and stuff.
Yeah.
I can never keep one of these jobs, bro. It was always, like, kind of like a bit of a meme to me, bro.
Yeah.
And I was actually really afraid that, when I was working at my asset management company in the financial markets, some of these people stick around for, like, 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do you navigate this social, logical, like, the social environment of seeing people that you don't really actually connect with, like, intimately, or, like, even, like, from a professional level, and you got to be here for 30 years, man. thank God I never had to actually figure it out. I ended up quitting that job as well.
That's another part. You may achieve success, but you get into a comfort zone, and then you actually kind of slowly die inside.
Yeah, I was dying. I was dying.
Yeah.
I was dead inside, brother.
Yeah,
I was
man.
really dead inside, and it really took me coming to spaces like this. You know, I'm here with my friend Chris in the back, but like we did a really cool full moon yesterday, man. We got to see a beautiful full moon over Puerto Comenta, which is the southernmost point in Mexico, while lightning was going on in the back, waves were crashing on mountains, and also being able to like do dance and rituals. And man, this is what life is, brother.
Definitely.
This is the nourishment of energy and life force.
So let's talk about crypto real quick, and I want to see how we can get you into the crypto game.
Yeah.
First of all, do you have any questions about crypto? Like,
Yeah, just to give you my background, I'm a multi-asset investor, so I go through. I've worked in fixed income. A lot of my background comes within the equity markets, and I have a very foundational understanding for futures and options.
okay,
Now, crypto, I spent an entire summer actually doing a crypto project for my company, trying to help them implement it within their own framework. So I understand the technology, I understand the market. I haven't dabbled.
okay. It's very interesting. I want to talk about non-fungible tokens. That's pretty much crypto collectibles.
Right.
And that's the new thing going off. Well, I mean, it's not sort of, it's new. It's to have being able to essentially tokenize anything, tokenize a house, tokenize a car, tokenize a piece of art, and actually transfer ownership on the blockchain, where you are the sole owner. You own the property rights essentially, and that is the newest thing. And then there's crypto collectibles. The most popular one is crypto kitties.
Okay.
So they're digital kittens. I buy and sell and breed digital kittens, like for real Ethereum money.
Right.
And I think it's a great way for women and children to jump in the game and learn about really investing and trading in markets by giving it something they can relate to, right? So I always like to teach the kids, I'll send you your first crypto kitty, because they may not understand the blockchain and this, but they can get a kitten that's unique, that actually owns to them. You know, so it's like a Pokemon card. So that's pretty much what it is. Non-fungible, because they're non-fungible, fungibility, non-fungible. It's like art, you know? So I think that's a great concept to introduce people who really just don't have a financial background, right? And so I think that's so that's why I'm very interested. And then you're able to tokenize art.
Right.
That's the new thing. And then now you're going to be able to tokenize data.
Right.
You'll be able to get royalties off your data.
Right.
You'll be able to get royalties based on the non-fungible token. You can purchase insurance for so this is really where it's at. It's just to own a token that's unique and everybody can verify it. So it's like Ethereum is like a platform for property rights.
Right.
And I mean, there's so many things that it opens up. And then the synthetic markets. So with the synthetic assets are crypto assets that track gold, that track commodities, that track equity, but in the crypto world. So they're called synthetic, right? So that's another way where if you don't want to buy gold or can't afford gold or get a brokerage, you can trade gold on synthetics, the actual site, and you can supply liquidity and whatnot. So right now I'm farming. It's called farming, where you stake some money, you put down a deposit, and you get another token in return. Okay. So you don't give up ownership, you just give up temporary ownership, right? Okay. And then you get another token. So that's called farming, where you just take free money and go make it more free money, go make it more free money. Obviously, there's a strategy and everything like that. But I'm farming Y Tesla, right? It's a meme token, and you got to get the meme tokens. It's where the money's at, right? So it's a synthetic token that tracks Tesla stock. So for every 100 Y Tesla, it acts as one real Tesla stock. So I'm getting that for free. So I think it's just so interesting where this game is going, and it's just going deeper. And because I've always wanted access to Tesla stock without actually having to really kind of deal with the whole buying and selling of a real Tesla stock. Yeah. So that's an industry I want to kind of show you more about, because you could literally take what you do and just throw it into crypto, right, and not have to deal with the actual regulations of that whole industry.
So Rootz, I have a really quick question for you, and I think it's so beautiful that you have such a expansive understanding of this market. One thing that we understand, or we get told, or we have the perception to believe in traditional finance, is that crypto is similar to like the airline industry, or it's similar to like the automotive industry back when Henry Ford was creating the Model T, where there was hundreds of these automobile companies,
Yeah, yeah,
and then really three end up making it out.
yeah.
Airline companies, so many airline companies during essentially
That's a great
the
question.
privatization, like
Yeah.
when airlines were no longer government owned.
Yeah.
And there ended up being a handful of people that made it out.
Yeah.
And technology boom.
Yes.
Hundreds of these different things and a handful of these individual
And there's
people
like
make it out.
9,000 plus cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. So,
So
who's
it's-
gonna be the
exactly.
gonna be the Ford? Who's gonna be the Toyota?
Exactly. You don't know this, and you have to accept the fact that you don't know. But you can look at some of the biggest players in the game and do research and understand why are they some of the biggest players in the game. But if you historically look at cryptocurrency, they've all been slipping. They've all been kind of coming up and slipping. So, but as new projects come out, they're taking the best qualities of the projects that failed
Yeah.
and incorporating something new.
Right.
And this keeps happening.
Right.
So eventually we'll see a platform such as Ethereum have more adoption than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because you can't really gain APY, you can't really gain any interest off Bitcoin
Right.
at all. You have to take the risk of putting it onto Ethereum,
Right.
which you're putting is pretty much a Bitcoin IOU you get in
Buenas.
return. Buenas. To actually maximize your Bitcoin on Ethereum. So these are money Lego blocks.
Yeah.
So you're going to see some of the top projects all rely. That's how it works in decentralized finance. It's composability.
Right.
Like we can't work unless they work,
Yeah.
and then we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
And you can get a token and get more money by being interconnected. You know.
Right.
So is there going to be which one? We'll see. I would assume natural competition would find the best product in the end.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm actually encouraging.
And utility is a huge aspect of that. Right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, being able to definitely, and for some people, what makes real money to them, it's still, unless if they can go and submit it at a grocery store, that's real money. They don't care what you call it or where it came from.
Yeah.
But if you can't go and do that, it's not real money to them.
Yeah.
So, you right now, here's the thing. Without going deep into the mentorship, because this is why a lot of people are confused about money in general. I want to break it down.
Right.
There's cash.
Yeah.
There's actual cash money.
Yeah.
Then there's digital money.
Yeah.
Your bank accounts or credit cards.
Yeah.
Now there's digital cash,
Yeah.
Bitcoin. That's
Yeah.
what it's a peer-to-peer digital cash system.
Yeah.
So we have these different forms of money, and it's kind of confusing people because we don't really use cash anymore. Yes, we do it here, but they've been using digital money, but to them it wasn't digital money, and they call it Bitcoin digital money. It's like when you go to a bank, they're sitting at a computer. So it confuses people. There's cash, there's digital money, then there's digital cash. But not just that, there's three issuers, right, of the money. Essentially, it's the governments, and then next is the corporations. Facebook, Libra, maybe even Google, Amazon wants their own token.
Yeah.
And they're a threat to governments because Facebook has over 2 billion users. No government has that many people like they can just access right away. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So corporations are a threat. If they come out with their own money, government, so now you got government money, corporation money, and then you have the people's money, which is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So you have three different types of money, then you have three different issuers of the money. Yeah, man, it's confusing for a lot of people, right? I don't blame them. But I just find it fascinating. And money's a belief system. The only reason things have value is because we all believe it has value,
That's
right? So the only reason the dollar still has value is because we all believe it has value. It's not backed by gold. Like the moment that faith in that dollar collapses, we're gonna see. And if there's not a lifeboat to go on,
Yeah.
it's gonna be devastating.
And I do want to just close it off here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
With what we see is the dollar is not, and this is gonna sound either really mind blowing or it's gonna sound really obvious to people, but the dollar has not been the primary currency over, like if we just look at the span of time, like currencies come and they go.
Yeah.
There's a point where the Dutch.
Okay.
And the Dutch currency at the time when the Dutch superpowers were like, you remember there's a Dutch East Indian company.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
they're essentially the richest company in history. And that currency at the time was highly used, and the British pound was at the time the hegemony of the monetary system. And of course, with the downfall of the British Empire, the dollar ended up superseding that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different periods where different currencies are superior, and I'm really looking forward to. Well, I'm not looking for. it's going to be a natural process where the dollar is no longer the premier currency in the world. But while we close up, I do have to run off to a consulting meeting with a pretty cool business entrepreneur. But I had a really good time connecting with you guys.
Blessings, you guys.
My name is Brandon Samba. You guys can find me on LinkedIn at BrandonSamba. Also, I'm on Instagram. You guys look up Brandon Samba. You guys will be able to find me on there. But my Instagram name is Official King Clout. So that's Official King Crown and then Clout, Clout. So let's connect. If there's anything that I can do for you guys let me know. I'm not selling anything or anything like that, but I might have some time if you guys are looking to access some knowledge. But Crypto Rootz, my brother.
Blessings.
It's been an awesome session.
Take care, you guys.